I was doing a video assignment, and then I did it, and then I was uploading it, and surprise, it was already done by a different person.
Really?
Yes, really.
What assignment was that?
It was the video review for Lost in Random. Like, somebody else had done the write-up, marked it, and then I was gonna do the video portion, or do a video version of the review.
Oh.
And then somebody else did it.
Huh?
Yep. Pretty cool.
So, was your video at least better?
No, his thumbnail was better than mine, and that point I was like, I don't know, fucking the game is lost, friends.
Shit.
And the new guy's videos are also good. He syncs footage up to the visuals, or syncs the voiceover better to the visuals than I do. Because I only sometimes do that. Sometimes I'm just in a hurry. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, I feel you there. And some games, it's literally impossible. If you've got something that's primarily like a first-person shooter or something, every piece of capture is just that. It's just first-person shooter footage, and thus your video looks incredibly boring. You need something with real cutscenes and some meat to it.
Yeah, some games it's pretty much impossible because all the shit looks the same, and it's fun to play, but pretty bad to watch.
That's showbiz, baby.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey! Anyways, what'd you guys fucking play over the last 2 weeks?
Wow, the one thing I actually played like to completion was the new Life is Strange game.
Sick.
It's very good. The first one kind of did a bit of a whirlwind on the whole COG connected staff. Like, it scored pretty well in the Game of the Year that year, and you know, it had some people feeling the feels and things like that. And then the second one, I don't know, it just didn't really seem to have that same groundswell. I don't know, people didn't love the story quite so much. This one's definitely a return to form, though. It's touching and heartfelt and has lots of, you know, little nudges towards popular culture that people will definitely love. And it looks really good. It's caught up technically quite a bit with the rest of the universe. It still has that kind of indie flower, stylized look to it, but the characters and whatnot are way more believable. It sounds like they actually motion capped a lot of the scenes for this one, so there's lots of really subtle character movement and, you know, eyebrows and things like that. And especially going back after you've completed the game, a lot of characters have specific tells, which is quite a cool thing to notice on a second playthrough, especially for something that is so narratively driven and so character driven. It's really good if you love character adventure, point and click, but nothing too crazy puzzle wise. It's very direct and linear. Anybody can play this. You don't have to be a lover of point and click random combination of items that you've picked up. You can kind of, you know, just scream along in this thing and just have a good time.
Sweet.
Yeah, very good. Videos on the YouTubes, reviews on the site.
Awesome.
What about you, James?
Oh,
you ever get Skatebird?
I did, actually. I put a few hours in on that bad boy. Well, like a couple hours this afternoon. I got off work and went immediately downstairs to get it going. And, man, you know who it turns out is really bad at skateboarding? Fucking birds. Like,
Okay.
oh, okay. Yeah, you could do a double ollie because you have tiny little wings.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do one jump and then you and you do another jump and then you make it a little farther. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's so weird because it controls like yes, this controls like a bird would on a skateboard. Sometimes that sucks, man. It's like their little wings aren't good enough for like steering, like that's actually really important or something. I don't know.
Okay. So what you're saying is that your expectations have so far been subverted.
Kind of. They kind of have been. But like in a way that I should have seen coming, because it's a cute, casual, chill game that's like relatively short. So one way they got around this is by making it so it controls in a very specific, granular fashion. So like little things, like little turns, like you cannot turn on a fucking dime with the bird, because he has this impossible forward momentum where it's just like you're just always going, you're just always fucking going, and in order to slow down he has to sit there and do the little flap with his wings, and just like and you're like trying to like get up a turn and around a corner, and you're like, oh, and you build up too much momentum so that you go whipping off the side. But on the other hand, it's possible that I'm actually just a moron, because there was a bunch of challenges I did today where I was like really frustrated and having a lot of trouble, and then I went back and approached it from a slightly different angle. I was like, oh, that was actually easy. I was just doing something dumb for like 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Like there was this one, there was like a table, or like an elevated area where you're like ripping around and like trying to get to this one spot to like do like a grind or something. I'm like, fuck, this is so hard. How are you supposed to do this? Because it turns out the table is made of glass, and the glass is transparent because it's glass. And so I assumed there was nothing there, just some ledges and some things that were connected to some ledges and a big gap in the middle. No, that was glass, you moron. And so, that was easier than it needed to be. And there's all these little things where it's just like, oh no, you just had to do this one thing and then you were good to go. The challenges all seem hard, and then you just plug away at them for a bit. And you're like, oh no, this isn't that tough.
To me, that's a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag.
That can be satisfying, but at the same time, you can't pull the gotcha out of your bag of tricks too many times. It gets old real quick when you're just like, oh, gotcha, the table was glass. Ha, sucker. You thought it was a gap.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I can't tell how inherently frustrating it is, because I had the attention span of a
bird?
Goldfish. Or a bird, yes. A goldfish or a bird. And with these games, the investment of time and patience brings serious, tangible dividends. And so I have to keep this in mind when I'm processing one of these games, or like, figuring out my stand with them, because they're meant to be played patiently and repeatedly over a longer period of time than 90 minutes before you make your initial impression. So maybe I should just shut the hell up and play this for another day or two, and then maybe it'll be better, or maybe I will not like it as much as I thought. Yeah, but it's really cute, and the graphics are nice, and there's a whole bunch of different birds and bird accessories you can wear and rip around on your little board with, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So is this structured like a typical skateboarding game, kind of open arena challenges, point attack, time attack kind of thing?
Well, it's cool because you're in the stage and you just sort of skate around and fuck about, and then you see a bird and you do a challenge, and you do enough of those challenges and you move on to the next stage. But if you don't want to do that, you can just kind of fuck around and skate.
Okay. You
need to do the story to unlock more stages, but it's fine. You can just the in between the individual specific challenges, you can just sort of wander the world and figure out the layout. I had to do that once for one of them because it involved this crazy tricky move where you had to like do a sort of grind, like an impossible against physics kind of thing, where you go up a cable to the top of a pole and down another one. And to make that stupid fucking jump took me like 40 or 50 attempts to figure it out. So I just did it without the timer going, and like, all right, okay, I got it. Great. Perfect. And then the challenge was easier.
Yeah. All right.
Which is great, actually.
Okay. Well, I'll be listening for an update on this one, because skateboarding games are cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun. So, yeah. Rhett, did you play anything as visually and intellectually stimulating as Skatebird?
Bus Simulator 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, You take the role of, nameless, essentially faceless bus driver
Yeah.
who wants to begin his own bus empire. And you arrive to a town based off of San Francisco. And, off you go. Making routes, picking up fares, fighting teenagers in the back seat. The whole shebang.
Like, actually, that last thing, does it have a fighting mode?
No, I am really contemplating writing a letter to the developers to try to get them to add some sort of teenager fight mode.
That's fair. That
right?
seems like a good addition.
Yeah. What is cool about the game is that I don't know if the last one had this, but this one has multiplayer, so you can bring your And so when I first heard about this, I was like, oh God, like there's no way that they let you actually like walk around and get on your friend's bus and whatever. I'm sure you're just going to like get in there and you're just all going to be driving around and hey, maybe you'll pass by each other and you'll wave at each other. No, it's like fucking Grand Theft Auto. You can get out of your bus and walk around and you walk onto your friend's bus and then you're checking the tickets while he drives. And it sounds so ridiculous. I know it's
Every simulator game does, Fred. It's
so,
fine.
right? So
you
ridiculous.
cannot describe one of these games without sounding like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, lots of buses to choose from. Now, the key points, the selling points, I think with this game that are actually pretty well done. The maps are cool. I was saying the first map that's based off of San Francisco, it's pretty well done. It's actually like pretty big, looks nice, nice enough for a simulator game. Yeah, again, that multiplayer. And I've been playing it on PC, so obviously it's got a ton of nice mod support already. Yeah.
Maybe they can mod fight mode in.
Right? Like something, please.
I do have a question, though. What's your favorite length of bus? What's the best one to drive?
Short, of course.
For maneuverability or flexibility
yeah.
of route choice, or
all of the above. My favorite kind of passengers too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
we talking community shuttle?
Yeah.
Out
There's
in
less
the burbs?
teenagers to fight on the short bus.
That's true.
Do you just really want to fight some teenagers, Red? Like, is this
Man,
is this something working out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Bus simulation.
Bus Simulation 21. You can't miss it. Also, I just want a side note. There's also a game coming out called The Bus. Yeah. It's going to be more bus sim, but think like bus sim with a bigger budget. So I think it's going to be a more effective bus simulator, so to speak.
Okay.
Titled The Bus. Keep your eyes out for that.
I won't, but thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only bus-related game that I'd potentially be interested in is Bus Simulator crossed up with Crazy Taxi. I'd play that.
Crazy Bus. Okay.
I thought you were going to talk about that Penn and Teller desert bus.
No, you monster. Nobody's talking about that.
Legitimate 8-hour drives.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Nobody should do that.
It's good shit.
Okay. So, I mean, I've seen Bus Simulator for years and years and years. It always had a presence at E3, right alongside Farm Simulator. I've always ignored their emails. Maybe this is something that I should have been interested in this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what drew me to it. Right now, I'm looking for really any game that I can control with the steering wheel. Got myself a wheel, got the cockpit going. So like truck simulator, bus simulator, I was ready to hop all over that because it really is kind of nice getting off work and then going and just relaxing with like a podcast in the open road.
Hey, Rhett. What are you playing these games on?
PC for
Okay,
Bus Simulator PC. Yeah.
Okay. So my recommendation, if you want something to just listen to a podcast and play like relaxedly, would be Elite Dangerous. Because you do have long commutes throughout the galaxy, but it's in something cooler than a bus.
Fair enough.
Also, it's just a very good game.
Elite Dangerous. I've never played it.
Good podcast game.
Okay, I'll check
Yeah.
that out.
They have done so many updates to that game. You know, originally Elite Dangerous is just kind of, you know, space simulator, space trucking, flying back and forth between planets. But then, you know, they added the ability to go into atmospheres, and they added a whole bunch of planet-based stuff. So it's very much more like kind of No Man's Sky-ish at that point. And there's all kinds of like little bolt-on packs that they've added to this thing. It is such a robust game now.
I do kind of want to check it out.
That does sound cool.
Yeah. Ooh, also, pretty sure it's in VR if you want. And
No, you don't want that.
Yeah.
I've actually tried that. You need like a steering rig, like a flight stick, because you can't see the fucking controls, and there's
Right.
so many of them.
Right.
There's
You got a good
so
point.
many controls.
It's a very good point. You just hit U to transfer power.
It's like, oh, no, we're not doing that.
Very good point.
It does look amazing to fly in a spaceship in VR, but it's not as cool to steer one.
We need like a co-pilot and just relay commands to somebody who's just can't see what you're doing but is working the keyboard.
Oh yeah, exciting.
Need a correction 15 degrees to port.
Yeah.
That sounds
So, just a whole crew of people like running like 4 different keyboards plugged into your machine. Ensign!
Need all power to the engines. 5
Furiously
people
hammering.
elsewhere in your house just yell, "Yo! Aye, sir!" I'd play that.
That does sound pretty rad, to be honest.
That kind of reminds me of a piece of Life is Strange, actually. 'Cause it does have a very large piece of the story that revolves around LARPing,
Dope.
Yeah.
which I thought was going to be lame, but then it was so fucking cool when it came to fruition. I'm not going to say more because it's big story spoilers, but that part is
I'd be
awesome.
curious about that just because I know people in my life who actually do LARP pretty frequently. I've visited a couple in my time, participated in 1 or 2. And it's crazy how often other kinds of pop culture get it really, really wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to get right, but there's been like shows out there who are like, no, we're just going to charge full speed ahead into the cheapest possible jokes and, you know, make people look like the wrong kind of weird.
Yeah. No, they took their time with this. They treat it right.
Yeah, good.
For example, the old man in town finds his way into the LARP by volunteering to be the barkeeper at the bar because he's a drunk and he wants to stand behind the bar and get wasted while everyone's LARPing. And
Nice.
I was like, good on you, man. Well done.
So anyways, LARP in Life is Strange. It was good.
Yep, LARP is strange. Very good. Would recommend.
All right, sick.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of all kinds of fun little things that happen in that game. And it's pretty short. Like, this is a 1 or 2 sittings kind of experience.
Sweet.
Yep. What else have we all been playing? James?
Well, I spent several hours with Lost in Random.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know anything about that game going in. I kind of deliberately missed all the promo and the previews and the trailers and shit. I was shocked at how beautifully done the art is and the voice acting. The whole thing is written by Ryan North, who's like a very accomplished comics and other medium storyteller, just all around. Very talented dude. and the writing really stands out. The voice acting, all that's amazing. The gameplay is interesting. It's you have the power to kind of like freeze time, like it's an action RPG kind of thing, where you're running around and wailing on people and wearing their hit points down. But like when you get to the turn-based part where you're like choosing your next set of attacks, you like freeze the world and you can kind of walk around in it while it's frozen, which I didn't it was so new to me that I didn't utilize it properly for a while. But like eventually it's just like, oh no, I'm just gonna do this and like get behind this guy and like charge up a super heavy attack with the biggest weapon I have and just like wail on him in the back. Or like set a bomb somewhere and then like strike it so it starts to go off and then run far away and then like unfreeze the world. Like, ha!
Nice. This is the latest in the string of EA's little original indie games, right?
Yes.
Nice. Who developed it?
Somebody called Zoink.
Zoink. This looks awesome. I love the
yes.
aesthetic.
It's very, very distinct, very engaging. Every part of every stage is like beautiful in its own way and very like, it's interesting because all of the 6 worlds, most of them look pretty similar, but they still feel separate enough, at least in like the personalities of everybody in those worlds. Because it's all like the whole story, the whole world, the whole conceit is all based around the 6-sided die. So like the people in Two Town are very distinct. A lot of split personality stuff happening. A lot of like, kind of weird back and forth. And then like everybody in the 3-1 Freedom, everybody in Freedom all feel
okay. I like that
separate in their own ways. It's just like that, like all the way through.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
I'm so glad they have that program because, they're so much at risk of just becoming even more that faceless entity that nobody loves. But, this is the second one this year that is truly unique and truly interesting. The last one being It Takes Two.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good on them for, even if they don't believe in that side of things of being really creative, they want money. But good on them for paying the money to these little developers to do their own thing and make some actual cool stuff.
Yeah. There's a couple companies out there that are good about making those sort of moves. They have at least one thing they do where you're like, all right, you guys got it.
Somebody in there's got a piece of a heart.
Yeah. If you smush 4 of you together, it's like a whole emotionally mature human being. All right.
The company gained another heart. We found 4 partially soulful individuals, and the company gained one more heart point.
Made them into a squad and a dev team, and then, by God, something good happened. Yeah. Our review of Lost in Random, I found a little lower than I would have given it, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, well, Mark, I think he landed on like 70, and he was like pretty unimpressed with like the gameplay and everything else. And I was just like, okay, man. But sometimes I feel like reviewers expect something that they don't get, and it's really hard to keep that from coloring your opinion on something. Like I've definitely done this before myself, where it's like, I wanted this, but I got this, and I'm not super happy about it, But hey, I'm not the one to cover it. Maybe it would have come to an extremely similar conclusion had I put in enough time and critical energy to the game instead of just playing it for a while and thinking it was rad.
It's absolutely the hardest thing in reviewing anything is putting aside your own feelings and trying to bring that objective lens to everything. Obviously, it's going to be subjective because you're an individual and you're writing a thing that's an opinion.
Yeah.
But the only place I find that crossover starts to impact how I feel about a game is when it is pitched as something that it's not. So something like the original Destiny.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's an amazing shooter. It's got a great world, lots of interesting art, but it was pitched as GTA but Halo. Like they were saying, you're going to have entire worlds to play with and do all this cool stuff with your friends. And that's well within the era where open world games were just the most exciting thing on the planet for everyone. But then it came out and it's like, okay, well, no, you've kind of got these defined zones. It's designed to be repeatable content that you play with your friends. It's not really an open world RPG. It's kind of this mission-based, funnel you through repetitive areas kind of thing. And it's great for what it is, but it's not the thing that it was pitched as. So if I had reviewed it, it probably would have affected the score for me. But
yeah,
I do get what you're saying, that you can't just judge something because you wanted it to be something else.
You shouldn't, but you do. It's hard to completely escape it. Like,
it's bias. You can be aware of it, but you can't fully reject it.
That's right. In a sense, Mark probably actually gave it a more objective review than I would have. My score might have been higher because of the bias.
You love clay characters. What can you say?
It's Tim Burton as fuck, man. I can't say no to that.
Yeah, it really is. The aesthetic reminds me a lot of the Little Nightmares games, actually.
Yeah.
Number one on my pile of shame this year, by the way. Little Nightmares 2. Still haven't played it.
Ah, yes.
It's supposed to be excellent.
Yeah, I gotta get on that one too.
But anyway, Rhett, I know you've been playing NBA.
Yeah.
Is this microtransaction nightmare, or what's going on?
I mean, they're there, but the game is definitely taking it a step forward this year.
Ooh, okay.
Gameplay wise, game mode wise, they kind of combined a couple things now, and they have this like live the life career mode where you actually like you have an apartment and then you go downstairs and you can walk around the street and go talk to people and it's kind of like a GTA almost kind of thing. And then when you're ready to go play basketball, you go down to the arena and go play. It's pretty interesting.
When you're outside your place, can you fight teenagers?
Man, that was the first thing I did. I went downstairs. There was 3 of them sitting on my stoop, and I couldn't even interact with them, let alone fight them. So again, I'll be penning a letter to 2K. I'll probably just copy the one that I'm writing to Still Alive Studios and Bus Simulator.
Yeah, make sure to change all the names out, or else
For sure.
real embarrassing.
But and like, come on, my guy's 6'10", 250 pounds, coming out of his apartment. There's these little 14-year-olds, and they're talking shit, doing their thing, being little shitheads, doing what teenagers generally do.
Yeah.
Like, as if I can't give them a little boot in the ass. Nothing. I'm not talking about on the street beating them down just a little boot in the ass to let them know that, like, hey, it's time to shape up. Don't think I don't see who you all been hanging around with. Anyway, so NBA is pretty good. There's basketball to play in it.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
excellent.
Legitimately, the animations are a lot better. Whenever I talk about sports games, I always either praise them for like mimicking the sport well, or trash them for not. And NBA, for the past couple of years at least, I think people had started to kind of see some of the cracks. It was really looking like the same game every year for the past 3 or 4, I should say. People would even argue that like it got worse over the past couple of years. But with this one, a lot of new animations. The like second to second gameplay is a lot smoother than it has been in the past. And yeah, it's been good so far. I need to play it more, but I've been enjoying it more than I thought I would be. That's for sure.
I'm really waiting for sports games in general to pick up on some of the tech that has started to find its way into, for lack of a better term, the Sony style of game, the third-person character action adventure game, where it blends animations. Something like The Last of Us Part 2 has a lot of that technology where multiple animations kind of play at the same time, and it generates something that's a little bit in between. So things look more fluid in motion. I'm waiting for that to occur in sports games, because you can always tell, oh, my guy just locked into this animation, and this is the falling down trying to score top shelf animation, and I can't get out of it. Or he could get hit midway and it just doesn't make sense from a physical perspective. So waiting for that. Please, somebody.
I think this generation is the first where that's possible.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like doing the visualizing that in my head, what you were describing. And it feels very doable, very, very, very grounded when you're dealing with just like a couple of characters in a tussle or like, having a conversation. But the whole field full of fucking basketball players seems harder. Harder to do that with. I don't know.
For sure. But especially when control is so important in a sports game. You can't give up any measure of control with that kind of thing going on. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's made it fun is there's a lot of moves that you can do with the players, crossovers and what have you. And there's a lot of control, a lot of ability to like cancel your moves mid-step and go with something else. Or it seems a lot more fluid, Yeah, it seems like they're on to something. They're on the right page with this one. Hopefully they keep the momentum going for next year.
Yeah, I played the one last year a little bit because there were a lot of review codes and nobody had a PS5 at that point. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just try this out and make some video or whatever. And yeah, did not love how that game controlled. So I was glad to hear how that this one's at least trending in the right direction. Or making that this is a new console transition from being terrible the first year to getting back to being okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's important.
So important. And speaking of important, for the first time in like what feels like a year and a half, PlayStation had a presentation about stuff they're doing.
Sure did.
There's like 100 line items here, James.
Well, I deleted a couple actually when I added this.
Yeah.
Because some of them was just like, oh, this thing that you know about, it's still happening. I'm like, all right, great. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think we got a new trailer for a few games where it was just like, oh, okay, great. Like Deathloop. Like, all right, no, it's fine. It's fine. We knew about Deathloop. Deathloop was happening.
Guys, that game's out in like 24 hours. What are you wasting time?
Yeah, who
here?
cares? Yeah.
Also, apparently that GTA 5 trailer, the PlayStation 5 one, is one of the most downvoted videos on the internet at this point.
Well, it should be.
People are like,
Well,
For Christ's sakes.
The game is from 2013.
Seriously, like,
we'd all like to move on.
seriously, like,
yeah. What possible excuse?
Yeah, so not only are we still rocking with Grand Theft Auto motherfucking 5 for some reason, but you're telling people they have to wait another like 6 to 8 months before they can play the ideal version on their brand new expensive consoles. Fuck
it's a
you
joke.
guys.
Not only that, it looked like the exact same game.
It
It looked like nothing
is.
had changed, and they were talking about gameplay improvements, and no, it looked like the exact same game.
I mean, they added first person some amount of years ago, and that was cool. But boy, oh boy, was that ever it?
Well, I was hoping that we'd see some sort of VR announcement.
No.
Negative.
By the time GTA 6 comes out, Insomniac Games is going to have released over 100 games. Like I'm convinced of that.
Every superhero under the sun, all exclusives to Sony.
And I'll say it again. Probably the best deal in the history of video game publisher or developer purchases Insomniac only cost Sony $200 million.
Wow, really?
Fucking
And that was
peanuts.
not long ago. That was like 2 years ago.
Crazy.
And like,
Oh,
the quality is off the charts.
I guess at that point they were only really known for
Yeah.
what?
Ratchet, pretty much.
Ratchet, right?
okay.
And that was it?
Resistance.
Resistance, right. Okay.
I'd take another one of those, by the way.
Yeah.
Sure, it's never happening. They're a Marvel studio now.
Yeah.
Like that's
Waiting for the inevitable Ratchet and Clank Spider-Man crossover.
Wow, nice. Dimensions, yeah.
You know what? I'd play it.
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So how many games is Insomniac working on right now?
Yeah, that we know of. 3, 2.
Yeah, there's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
There's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Is there any other one? I feel there's another one.
They don't have their hand in the Guardians of the Galaxy pie.
Oh no, that's Eidos Montreal. That's that's
okay.
a different thing.
You can tell because it looks like the Avengers game.
Looks like Avengers, yeah. Oh, I hope nobody's... Well, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, if you're excited for Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe subvert those expectations a little bit.
It's going to be
If
a real 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say possibly a 7 out of 10, because since you're only really controlling the one character, maybe they can flesh him out and make him interesting to play and feel distinct instead of just like a vending machine full of people that fight similarly.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have time to differentiate the levels a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. I personally think Guardians will absolutely hit like a 7, like a 7.5 maybe,
Nice.
because it's just like one specific adventure with like one character and a bunch of side characters. You know what I mean? It's more focused, and like Guardians looks cool generally. So not like amazing, but yeah, 7.5 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a disservice to themselves putting that much gameplay out so soon. Like that huge presentation they did, I guess maybe that was at E3. It was like a half an hour long.
Yeah.
And there were points in that where I was like, okay, maybe this is written okay. That seems pretty funny. But then there were just long stretches of the most
bullshit.
generic gameplay. So, I think a little quick tease, maybe give people a little bit of hope that this might be a bit different than the Avengers. Maybe it's funny.
Yeah.
At least
It better be. God, it better be hilarious, or else those first week sales are not going to be great.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how good their Drax writing is. That's really gonna hinge things right there. But anyways, back to Insomniac. They're making fucking Wolverine.
Whoo, yeah.
They're making
God
Wolverine.
damn. That shit's going to be so good. So good.
Yes. And confirmed that it's a full size game. It's not a Miles Morales.
Not a Miles
kind
Morales,
of thing. It's its own thing, and that's opening the door for X-Men.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe. Insomniac seems like they have a very specific modus operandi, you know what I mean? Like, they did one with Spider-Man, and then one with Miles. Now they're going to do one with Logan. And it's just like, I don't know if they'd be a really good pick for like an ensemble style experience. Like, if they, I feel like their focus really shines when it's just like a single individual. Like, I don't know if they have a lot of like experience doing big.
Yep, I'd agree with you. I think they could do an X-Men game where you only play one character.
Professor X.
That could be really interesting.
Man, I want that Charles Xavier game. Xavier.
Just call it Charles.
Yeah, Charles. Yeah, exactly.
Marvel's Charles.
Marvel's Charles.
Marvel's.
I'll get a pre-order.
Yeah.
It's on the table.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Big time. Big time.
Just like some like prestige looking cover with like Charles Xavier just like sitting there like stoically like in his wheelchair, and it's like, I don't know, you know what I mean, like some sort of like Oscar bait movie, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna play this fucking game. Press X to form a sharp rebuttal in the middle of a heated debate. Press Y to bend the world to your will with unstoppable psychic power.
I can see the Cerebro minigame in my head right now.
Rotating the sticks, pulling triggers,
Yeah.
locating children across the world. Man, it
shooting
writes
little
itself.
wires of like psychic light across a complex network.
Yeah.
Like a scene from Hackers.
I think we got something here. Rhett, while you're writing letters, gonna need you to add a third letter out to Insomniac games about Marvel.
Yeah.
Done. Since I'm doing that too, I'm gonna put my my vote in for Juggernaut to be the main villain in that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Between those two, absolutely.
Right.
And Spider-Man 2, which that trailer footage looked outrageous.
So good.
So sharp.
Yeah. Is Venom a good guy or a bad guy?
Both.
Oh,
Both.
yeah.
Right?
Always both.
Always both, yeah.
A bad guy until there's a worse symbiote somewhere.
Yeah.
Right, of course, yeah.
But, man.
He's just making sure there's always a villain. And as soon as somebody else is a villain, it's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna back off. I'll let you do this.
Yeah, now I can quip a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was also confirmed that trailer footage from Spider-Man 2 is running in real time. Like that was that was PlayStation 5 capture. That's not target render. That's the game.
Now that everything's running 60 frames per second, it's actually kind of easy to tell when it's, for me at least, it's been lately. It's like, oh, this is running in game, or this is definitely not. Like,
yeah,
it just gets, you have to like, I don't know, you notice it, but then it gets very distinct after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like the animation's too fluid or too fast, or like something about the way the cameras pan about or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, this is in game.
Mm-hmm. But hey, that wasn't it. As they weren't done there. They had lots and lots of other announcements. Maybe the biggest one is Knights of the Old Republic remake?
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a thing, because that game, I don't know, I feel like you gotta really do a lot of legwork, like a lot of under the hood shit, if you want to bring that into the 21st century.
I mean, the way I heard it, they're completely remaking it.
I was gonna say, what if it's just from the ground up?
They're rewriting all the dialogue. They're redoing all of the art content. It's a full thing. It's like FF7 remake.
Damn.
Probably
trying to be the same story, but
yeah,
and with a really untested studio in Aspire.
Oh, cool. That historically goes really well.
Yeah.
Fresh, hot new studios can handle ambitious projects up to a certain size pretty reliably, but it seems like once it gets too big, then you start getting these headlines a year later like, hey, so we're going to do it in-house from now on, and the release day has been pushed back by a year and a half.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Like Metroid Prime 4 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Once it gets big enough, they're like, no, we shouldn't have even started this. We're fools.
What were they really thinking, giving like the biggest announcement that had ever been made on a stage about video games in Final Fantasy VII Remake to a studio called CyberConnect? What was the logic there?
Maybe they were just like, okay, we really have to get this started, but we're all busy doing other shit.
Can you guys draw spiky hair?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. There could be maybe there's some sinister strategy that big corporations enact where they're like, we just have to make sure that we're working on it in heavy quotes, and then we can actually work on it later.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Shit. If I had all the money in the world, that's what I'd do.
Lead on the consumer till the end of time.
Yeah, probably not. Seems like a huge waste of money, actually.
Yeah. Pretty confident that Gran Turismo 7 will not be a waste of money.
Holy shit, that trailer!
Fuck yeah, man. This fucking game is going to be so good. If
Yes.
you've been a fan of Gran Turismo since the early days, then you're really going to be a fan of this game because it looks like it's all the best parts of the classic games and then some.
Yeah, and Herman actually said that after the presentation a little bit, that it is the culmination of the other 6 games.
Yeah.
All the best parts. And holy shit, is everything so shiny and so reflective.
For a
Jesus.
second, watching that trailer, I wasn't 100% sure I was watching video game footage. I thought it was just like, hey, here's some video we took of some cars. You know, like, but no, that's just the game.
Yeah, it looks,
Yeah, man.
looks amazing.
Fucking
It's going to be
unreal.
good.
And a release date, March 4th.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
right man, it's about fucking time. I've been complaining for the past 6 months that we've had no bit of information on this game since 6 months, I guess, since what, 2 years ago? When did they show off that first trailer for this? 2 years ago, and we haven't had a fucking
Close to, yeah.
blurb of information since. So yeah, to get a release date too, fuck yeah, it's about time.
And right in the mix with that insane stretch of time of February, March next year, where everything's coming out all at once, together, simultaneously.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good,
But
no doubt.
Not good. Different thing. Something awful. Yeah.
I will be really glad to have GT7 around, though, as that palate cleanser between other things. You know, just go for a rip around the high-speed ring and put some decals on a car and buy a $900,000 turbo for this car that I barely drive.
I'm so happy to see customization coming back.
Yeah.
God, I'm missing that in sport right now. Like, customizing the liveries are cool, but man, you can only put so many fucking graphics on cars before it gets old, right? Like, let me put some actual time and effort into them. Let me spend my money elsewhere. I know racing games, I'm sure most people would say that they want nothing but cars to spend their money on, but I've always been the kind of guy where like Test Drive Unlimited has been the perfect racing game for me. I think it's a perfect like mixture of racing and the lifestyle, and seems like Gran Turismo 7 is getting back to a bit more of that. Little bit of controversy though. A lot of people online are like, the fact that it's coming to the PS4 is really gonna hurt the PS5 version. What do y'all think of that?
No.
Right?
Because like the sales of the PS5 have been so aggressive that basically the install base is as big as it can possibly be, and anybody who owns one will want to play this superior version of the game. So you're fine, right? Like, you can just release it on both consoles.
Or
that you'll get maximum penetration on the PS5 as is. It's fine.
Yeah.
Or do you mean like the game will be held back by the PS4?
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Well, no, they're saying that at least this is what, like commenters on Reddit, for example, are saying about the fact that, right, exactly. But I mean, it's like using sports games is a good example. Like every time that a new console comes out and sports games come out for like a year or two around that time, the next gen version of those games are always lesser than they could have been because too much time is spent developing the PS4 version of the game. A lot of people think that that's going to be the case here, that things are going to be removed from the PS5 version. Visuals aren't going to be quite as impressive because they've had to spend time dialing things back, and I don't know.
I don't know. I saw the trailer and
Man, right? It looks fucking like I don't know.
I think we're far enough removed from the launch of this console that we should probably, at least for some games, be swooping into the sweet spot when it comes to like fidelity and power.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've had a couple of years this thing now.
Yeah, the other thing is that it's a benchmark franchise. You know, it's a Sony staple. You know, I would imagine that there's not going to be any punches pulled with this one. So Sony will be sure of that.
I think the right strategy at least would be to develop it for the PS5 first. And then once that's good to go, then you're like, okay, let's try to like take this product and slim it down a bit for the PS4 version. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to make compromises, make it there.
Right.
yeah, like okay, we'll take out the ray tracing, we'll cut the resolution in half, we'll take out 50% of the cars from the races. Okay, we're pretty close. Now let's take out some textures and make the backgrounds a little bit grimier or whatever. I don't think it's that much effort to pull it back to where it will run on a PS4.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, even from an AI perspective, I don't think they're going to be doing that much with AI in cars that couldn't be pulled off on a PS4.
Yeah.
Also, I think that the DualSense is going to be an absolute game changer in this.
Ooh, yeah.
In this, with the haptic and, having to understand where the limit is on how hard you can brake before you're going to break the tires loose and be able to feel that point. Man,
and
game changer.
And the throttle too.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing that's held people back from truly competing on controllers is that like the difference between just enough gas and flooring it is mere centimeters. So man, the haptics, the adaptive triggers, I should say, on the PS5, man, I think it's going to be a game changer for racing games on the controller. Either way, though, still get a wheel.
Do you think they'll have a DualSense wheel?
Oh man, that's a great question. No, I know exactly. Thrustmaster has they have, or well, in October they're releasing their new version of their belt-driven wheel, and they have a new direct drive wheel coming out as well that's like PlayStation themed. But I can't imagine anybody doing a haptic wheel.
We'll see. Maybe for GT8.
Yeah. I mean, they're already crazy expensive. I could just see a full haptic feedback wheel running at minimum $1,000. I know, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A bit above my my
Yeah.
over-under line of where it's approachable.
Yeah.
But anyways, what else? What else happened
Let's
at this
see.
event?
They announced Alan Wake Remastered. So if you're like a big fan of that game, it's coming back pretty.
I am. I'm a very, very big fan of Alan Wake.
I kind of thought it looked like shit still, though.
Well, I mean,
Okay, it's a pretty old game,
yeah, exactly.
right? Like
it's old as fuck.
But, bring it to this generation, not early last generation.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to run great, run smooth. I was disappointed to see that they didn't drop any sort of Alan Wake 2 announcement to coincide, but
I've heard that that's happening, or
Yeah,
like some
right.
more Alan Wake projects are in the pipeline. Like there's somebody let that slip, or somebody talked about that after the remastered trailer dropped. So maybe
100%. I hope. I was going to say, but the fact that they announced that this remake or remaster, what have you, is going to be coming out early next month, that's pretty cool.
It's nice to have something to play this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021 release dates are getting pretty hard to come by.
I'm still holding out for that Cyberpunk next gen patch. Fingers crossed, November.
No.
And also, the game still sucks.
Still sucks. Still sucks. So I don't know.
Not
I'm
even
not
questionably.
gonna play it though. I'm not gonna play it. Like I'm gonna eventually. Once I hear that people say, you know what, it's playable. Okay, then I'm gonna hop in.
If you've got a PS5, you're fine. Like, it's extremely playable on PS5.
Yeah,
but
it'll run.
But they never
Yeah.
dropped that actual next gen update for it, so I might as well just wait for it at this point.
I mean, I don't know, man.
They've said that it's coming this year, October, November. What?
Okay.
They've said
We'll
a lot
see.
of things, Rhett.
A lot of things about that game. A lot of times, yeah.
Ugh. Boy. They did show God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. Lot of buzz. Lot of discourse surrounding this trailer. It's fascinating.
It's all over the place.
Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of fighting teenagers, that Atreus, man, I wanted to slap the taste out of his mouth in that trailer. Holy shit. I figured he was going to be, growing up to be a lippy little prick, but, whoo, man, they really are hitting the gas on that one, so to speak.
And
you're
very
such a
very intentionally, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Totally. That's one thing I was saying before the PlayStation showcase went down. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we have like a fight between Kratos and Atreus. Some, might not be an actual fight that you get to do, but I don't know. I think that they may come to blows at some point in the story.
That feels like a good story midpoint. Things come to blows, and Atreus's godly origins come to the forefront. Some kind of powers, some kind of Loki powers manifest, and it sets him up for the big comeback at the end of the game to save the day and contribute to the victory. They did say this is going to end the Norse saga of this series. So
Yeah.
Dude, that line that Thor gives to Kratos, where he's just like, "Are you a calm and reasonable man?" or something like that. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be so good.
Personally, I love that they're going with Fat Thor.
Yes, I was just gonna say there's been a lot of discourse about that because some people, doofy little nerds are all, oh, he doesn't look like Chris Hemsworth at his absolute peak, or like one of those fucking bodybuilders with long hair and a horn helmet that I expect out of this fucking character. It was just like, no, man, Thor is famous as a god for eating, drinking, partying, and fighting. And if you do a lot of that, you're probably going to have kind of a beller, and that's okay. Also, the strongest man on earth, like not bodybuilder, but the actual toughest motherfucker we have, is probably got a body type a lot like that. You need a crazy amount of like mass around that thick, muscly core if you want to be able to lift crazy shit and beat things up. It's very important actually.
100%. Look at the mountain. That dude is
Yeah.
thick. He's not shredded, bodybuilder. He's just like a huge chunk of beef,
Real mountain of a man. Yeah.
Real mountain of a man. Yeah.
I think about how they've portrayed the other Norse gods in the last game. When you first run into the stranger and fight him outside Kratos's place, he's skinny and scraggly, and he looks like a tweaker. Doesn't look like a god, and that's why that scene is so effective, because it doesn't matter what characters look like in this world, they can challenge Kratos.
Yeah. God power takes many strange and awful forms.
I will also say about that, though, that it looks remarkably similar to the last game.
Yeah.
Especially on the stream. I'm sure there are quality improvements. I'm sure Kratos's beard looks 10,000% better. But especially on the stream, I was like, this could be the last game.
I think that they want to make sure that they sort of hit that feel where now both games are going to be like one continuous shot, you know? And they've already confirmed that the second game alone is going to be one continuous shot. But I mean, I think that they want it to feel like if you were to play the first game and then the second game, it would just be all one big continuous shot.
That makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I guess Atreus is years older. There has to be
fair.
a gap somewhere.
Yeah, fair.
Also, that presentation had me very curious what Cory Barlog is working on if he's not directing this game.
Yeah, he's just on as a producer, I think. So, like...
He was very cryptic.
Yeah.
I'm working on something. I'm not going to say anything and blah, 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 whatever. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that God of War 1 remaster where they make the game in the style of the new ones, though.
If they did that, they'd essentially be like, kind of like retconning or decanonizing like the first few games, because if they released it now, it'd have to be just like a younger version of like Dad Kratos.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like not a fucking cartoon character in his behavior, you know? It's fine.
I mean, he was pretty cartoonish back in...
Well, that's what I mean. If they're going to bring that to 2022, 23, 24, whatever, probably they're going to update it tonally as well as visually.
Also, that one unbroken shot style is going to lead to some very awkward scenes if they decide to remake that whole game, whole series.
All the fucking he does, where it's just like, no, we're just going to keep it behind the shoulder the whole time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is the first adults-only game.
Yeah. No cutting away, kids.
Like, for real, you need a PIN code in order to start this game.
Yeah. Oh my god, it would be like shooting their sails in the back of the head if they tried to throw it in.
Blah, blah, blah. It's our vision.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Is there anything else that really stood out to anybody?
Oh, so Forspoken, the
Mm.
big Square Enix project, you know, we got little bits and bytes, but we didn't really see what the action or get what it was actually about. And it's about this like really aggressively relatable ordinary woman being thrown isekai style into like a whole new world, like a whole new fantasy setting where she's the special one.
Yeah. It's very
But,
like Kid in King Arthur's court, almost.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly that. It's exactly that kind of story.
God, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah. And she's cool, and I like the idea that it's just like, oh yeah, no, you're going to be fighting crazy monsters and with this person who has shopped online before. It's just like, like,
yeah,
have fun mashing those things together.
Yeah, I'm curious what I'm almost certain that it's one of those, you know, fish out of water and you have to save the world.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm hoping to have it be a little bit of a twist on that. At least have something there that's unexpected.
I mean, that's kind of what Square Enix does. I feel it'd be irresponsible and bizarre of them not to.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, that looks great. Did they put a date on that one?
I don't think so. I think it's still very like, well, whenever it's ready. This is Square after all. They don't do things fast.
No. That is not in their vocabulary. What else? Ghostwire?
Which one?
Ghostwire?
Oh yeah.
That looks fun.
Yeah, just you doing crazy psychic shit or like some warrior shit to ghosts.
Yeah, a lot of conjuring, you know, hand signals that make me feel like there's complicated button presses behind everything you do.
That would be interesting.
I'd be all right with that, but
yeah. Well, Japanese ghost stories are always interesting because there's like They have one for like every incredibly specific situation. They have so many like very like, oh, this ghost haunts this exactly and nothing else. This is a ghost from like when you, I don't know, neglect your dental hygiene for a couple of weeks. It's very, very, very granular. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that and with these crazy ghosts.
Dental hygiene ghost. I haven't gone back to it since we talked about it on the last podcast, but it reminds me of the first level of Psychonauts 2.
Right, yes, but of course.
The start of that game actually gives a disclaimer about the dental content. If you're really sensitive to tooth stuff, you're probably not going to want to. You're not going to want to. And I see why. There's a lot of teeth, there's a lot of gums, there's a lot of opening and closing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, but
yeah, the PlayStation 5's made incredible advancements in the area of like tooth and gum depiction. Realistic gums.
Wow, look at that enamel.
Yeah. Oh, that's money well spent.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like teeth. So, good job.
Yeah, guys, good job.
Okay, we got a couple other things left. There is Blood Hunt.
Blood Hunt? It's like a vampire battle royale, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I had that part of it on mute. I don't know.
That shit looked brutal. Blood Hunt?
Yeah.
This is not a hunt I'll be partaking in.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah. I don't know, it looked like a free-to-play game, if you ask me.
Yeah. Like any good battle royale, if they charge you for it, they've already fucked up, and they have to start again with a different one. Sorry.
You got to sneakily charge them. That's how you get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it even worth talking about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
Though that was interesting because I don't know. I guess I had this idea of like what they were gonna do with like a D&D campaign set in a Borderlands universe, and I thought, well, I could really there's a chance to do something interesting with it. And then they got to the trailer, and it's like, so there's the guns and the loot and the arrow comparison, and I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't.
But does anybody? You know, there were lots of shots of chests opening and hundreds of things popping out of there. Is that attractive to literally anyone?
Yeah, like if you have a weakness to like looter action games, like if you grew up with a Diablo problem and you're like looking for a fix that involves guns, then Borderlands kind of does it for you, but not like really, but kind of, but like enough that you want to give it a shot, especially if you had a real Diablo problem when you were younger.
Yeah. But anyways, Wonderlands looks like Borderlands, but high fantasy.
Yeah, I don't give a shit anymore. It's just like, oh, you're playing a D&D game, but you're still picking slowly, carefully through piles of fucking guns, looking for the ones with the biggest green arrows. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, with Ashley Birch having cranked her Tiny Tina up to not just 11, but 12, maybe 13. As high as it'll go.
I want nothing but the best for Ashley Birch.
Yeah.
She's been amazing in Mythic Quest, just like absolutely mwah.
Oh.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, good luck to her in all her endeavors. Glad that she's in this game, making it happen. I will not be playing it.
Oh, I didn't blame her at all. Tiny Tina had a time and place, and especially in the Borderlands 2 era, you know, had a lot of street cred. A lot of people loved the character. And in this day and age, if Randy Pitchford backed the Gearbox money truck up to me and said, hey, can you do Tiny Tina again? Yeah, absolutely. Obviously. I can.
Yeah,
I would love to.
for sure.
Do you want me to make it even more annoying this time? They're like, yes, please. Although I do say that there's at least a small opportunity for them to do some kind of high fantasy claptrap. Maybe that's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, the writing is actually not bad in terms of that style of game. It's all right, you know. I just wish the action wasn't designed to grind to a halt while you dig through a bargain bin of fucking assault rifles. I just God. I will never stop making fun of that shit. It's so obnoxious.
Yeah, looking through just a pile of the Madden NFL 09 of handguns.
You're at the fucking thrift store looking for something sweet, but it's just Madden, NFL, Madden, baseball.
Yep.
Fuck.
And the last thing we've got listed here is Chia?
Yeah, that... By the process of elimination, I now remember what that trailer looks like.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the game is.
The press blog that I copied the text from mentioned something about it being based on something Caledonian, which, okay, sweet.
Why
Assuming
not?
I read that right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's actually, it kind of looks like what I sort of expect to get out of Everwild whenever they decide to show that off in for real. Not aesthetically, but sailing around, building a world, playing a ukulele, etc.
Probably lots of essential mechanical developmental function tied to that ukulele, you know?
Absolutely. Can't wait to feel those ukulele haptics.
I mean, you could definitely do that with like instrument simulation and
Yeah.
the PS5.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. It's a good inclusion. It changed the tone and it kept it interesting partway through the presentation. It was not expected.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing. But top-notch presentation. I was engaged from front to back except for the GTA 5 thing, and there was a little stretch there with that and Blood Hunt that I was like, okay, but finished really strong with that half an hour of PlayStation Studio stuff.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent stuff.
So what do you guys got going on in the next little bit here? Everybody got stuff on the go?
Well, I'm gonna finish playing Skatebird, and then I feel like at some point in the next week or two, I'm gonna buy Disgaea 6.
Oh,
So I'm really sorry. It's gonna be hard to not talk about Disgaea 6
okay.
because it's one of those games,
Yeah.
franchises that I put hundreds of hours into
Okay.
and have words about. Yeah.
Okay.
Gas Station Simulator for me. That's going to be dropping tomorrow. It looks like you'll be able to pump gas, sell chips, and
that is that it?
looks like you'll be able to get into some fights with some teenagers that pump gas and try to fucking drive away without paying for it.
If they
Just
actually made a gas station simulator, you couldn't exclude shitty teenagers. That's
Exactly.
like
It's just
an essential
classic.
part of working in a gas station.
Totally. And not only can you fight them, but it looks like you'll be able to deny them cigarettes.
Oh, thank God.
Oh.
Right? What
Is
else
that-
are we doing? If you're not making Bus Simulator without the ability to deny cigarettes to teenagers or sell them and take the fine, whatever you want to do, give me that option.
Yeah, I want a Papers, Please style implementation of that, where you've got to interrogate them about their ID and
Exactly.
that'd be good.
Yep.
I've done that, and it can get pretty wild.
Nice.
That's some real slice of life stuff too.
Yeah. It's like, this says you're 35, you fucking liar. You child.
From Hawaii, huh? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex,
Totally believe you.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on a couple of things. Well, one thing I'm already playing, but I can't talk about. And also waiting on Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Hopefully that is actually coming out this month. That'd be great. Looking forward to that one.
At some point. So that'll be cool.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Press X, the podcast. The podcast that we didn't tell you the name of at the top or introduce ourselves because, hey,
No.
that's how we roll once in a while. I'm Paul, that's James, that's Rhett. Hey, you've met us now. Cool.
Hello.
Thanks for hanging out here in podcast purgatory or whatever. I don't know. Not really sure where I was going with that one, but
The fifth level where everybody has okay microphones, not the seventh level where they're working off those like little headset pieces. From Target.
I think my favorite on a podcast is when you can tell that someone is in a very echoey space and their mic is nowhere near them. That's good. Really like that.
Where they're shouting at it from across a full-size living room
Yeah.
with like one hand over their mouth. Yeah, it's good. I like that.
It's a good tone.
Yeah.
Sounds good in headphones. Sounds good on speakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
nailed it. Let's try that next time.
Call it the Showcast. The Scream blog.
That could be our side project is Press X to Shoutcast. Where we present everything as though we're narrating a Street Fighter V tournament. Anyways, we write for a place called Cog Connected, so if you want to see the stuff that we do, the stuff we make, cogconnected.com, check it out, read it, comment it, send us tweets? Tweet us. That's the one.
Tweet us.
Tweet at us. And keep your eyes peeled for Marvel's Charles coming soon to a console near you.
Yes!
Be a big game.
But yeah, take care of yourselves out there, people. It's rough out there in the world, but take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We'll see you right back here next time on Press X Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Marvel's Charles, let's do this.